For most of her life, Christina Applegate learned how to smile through pain. To audiences, she appeared confident, witty, and fearless. Whether she was standing on a sitcom set, walking a red carpet, or accepting an award, she always seemed in control. But behind that public image was a woman carrying invisible struggles that began long before fame arrived. Her story is not about scandal or controversy. It is about survival. It is about what happens when a child grows up inside an industry that never pauses for emotional development. Christina's life shows how success can coexist with deep private suffering. Every achievement came with a cost. Every milestone required sacrifice. And over time, those sacrifices accumulated into something far heavier than applause. To understand her journey, we must look beyond the glamorous headlines and into the quiet spaces where her real battles took place. Christina Applegate was born on November 25, 1971, in Hollywood, California. From the beginning, her life was shaped by entertainment. Her parents separated shortly after her birth, leaving her mother, Nancy Pretty, to raise her alone. Nancy was already working as a singer and actress, and show business became both their livelihood and their environment. There was no clear separation between home and work. For Christina, studio sets replaced playgrounds. Auditions replaced birthday parties. Cameras became as familiar as family members. Unlike many children who dream about becoming actors someday, Christina never had that choice. This world was simply where she lived. It was not ambition that placed her in front of cameras. It was necessity. Acting paid the bills. And in that system, childhood became secondary. Before she could even speak, Christina was already working. At just 3 months old, she appeared on Days of Our Lives alongside her mother. Not because anyone planned a career for her, but because childcare was expensive and production paid. Soon after, she began appearing in commercials. By the time most children were learning to read, Christina was learning scripts. By kindergarten, she had joined the Screen Actors Guild. She understood call times, lighting marks, and rehearsal schedules before she understood long division. While other kids played freely, she learned patience and discipline. Waiting quietly became a skill. Emotional control became survival. Her memories were filled with dressing rooms and studio trailers instead of playgrounds and sleepovers. As Christina grew older, expectations grew with her. By age 9, she transitioned from commercials to more serious acting roles. She appeared in television projects and small films while still attending school. Balancing homework with filming schedules became normal. Adults praised her professionalism, not realizing that professionalism in a child often comes from pressure. She learned early that mistakes had consequences. A missed line meant lost time. A bad performance meant disappointment. There was little space for vulnerability. Being strong was rewarded. Being tired was ignored. Over time, this taught Christina to suppress discomfort and keep moving forward no matter how she felt inside. One of the deepest wounds in her life began with something small. When Christina was 8 years old, a neighborhood boy called her fat. It was a single word, spoken casually, but it stayed with her forever. No adult corrected it. No one reassured her. No one explained that children's bodies change naturally. Instead, the comment settled into her identity. From that moment on, she began measuring her worth through appearance. The mirror became an enemy. Comparison became routine. She started believing that love, success, and safety depended on being thin. This belief would follow her into adulthood and shape her choices for decades. By the time Christina was 15, her career was accelerating. That same year, her mother placed her on Weight Watchers. The intention may have been protection in an image-focused industry, but the message was clear: her body needed fixing. Praise followed weight loss. Silence followed exhaustion. Christina later revealed that when she dropped to 110 pounds, she was praised instead of questioned. Behind that number was extreme restriction. At her worst, she survived on a few almonds a day. Hunger became routine. Weakness became normal. Food became something to fear. This was not about vanity. It was about control in a life where she rarely felt in control. When Married with Children premiered, Christina was still a teenager. Overnight, she became a household name. Her character, Kelly Bundy, was designed to be attractive, comedic, and attention-grabbing. The show relied heavily on her presence. Costumes emphasized her appearance. Jokes focused on her looks. Audiences loved it. Ratings soared. But behind the scenes, the pressure intensified. Her body became part of the product. Producers adjusted outfits to fit her shrinking frame. Crew members noticed she barely ate. Some tried to intervene, but Christina could not see herself accurately anymore. In her mind, she was never thin enough. For 11 seasons, she carried that role. More than 200 episodes, little time to rest, little space to heal. Every week, she performed confidence while privately struggling. Starvation became discipline. Discipline became identity. She believed suffering was proof of dedication. Because she played confidence so convincingly, few suspected how fragile she felt. Fame protected her career but worsened her self-image. She was praised for a body she was actively harming. Applause drowned out concern. And the longer it continued, the harder it became to stop. When the show ended, Christina expected relief. Instead, she felt lost. The industry struggled to see her beyond Kelly Bundy. Early film roles exposed her insecurity. On some sets, she behaved in ways she later regretted, driven by anxiety and self-doubt. One film failed commercially but later gained cult status, revealing depth critics initially missed. Still, none of it healed her internal wounds. Her eating disorder remained. Silence remained. Speaking felt dangerous. Vulnerability felt risky, so she kept moving. In the late 1990s, Christina deliberately reinvented herself. She chose darker, edgier roles. She pushed against typecasting. Slowly, it worked. She proved she was more than one character, but reinvention is exhausting. It requires constant performance. Emotionally, she carried old pain into new spaces. Success changed shape, but pressure remained. By the early 2000s, she appeared stable. From the outside, everything looked balanced. But stability in public does not always reflect peace in private. Christina married actor Jonathan Sheech in 2001. Many saw it as a new beginning, a chance for normalcy after years in the spotlight. But the marriage struggled quietly. Within a year, it ended. There was no public conflict, only emotional distance. After the divorce, Jonathan later admitted he spiraled into substance abuse. Christina stayed silent. She did not comment publicly. Silence had always been her way of coping. Pain was something she processed alone. Soon after, Christina dated photographer Lee Grivas. Their relationship was intense but unstable. He struggled with addiction. Despite caring deeply for him, she eventually walked away for her own safety. Not long after, Lee died from a heroin overdose at age 26. The news devastated her. Even though they were no longer together, the loss stayed with her. It reinforced a painful pattern. People close to her often disappeared suddenly. In her mid-30s, Christina received life-changing news. During routine testing, doctors discovered breast cancer. Genetic screening revealed she carried the BRCA1 mutation. Her lifetime risk was extremely high. After careful thought, she chose a double mastectomy. It was a preventative decision rooted in fear and strength. She wanted control. The surgery succeeded. She was declared cancer-free. But emotionally, recovery was complex. Humor became her shield. Grief stayed underneath. Instead of retreating, she turned pain into purpose. She founded Right Action for Women, helping high-risk women access cancer screenings. She raised millions. She saved lives. This was not publicity work. It was personal. Yet even as she helped others, her own sense of physical security remained fragile. Her body no longer felt reliable. Trust in herself was permanently altered. Broadway became her next dream. She starred in Sweet Charity, a physically demanding role. During the run, she broke her foot but continued performing in medical boots. Critics praised her dedication. She earned a Tony nomination, but the injury never healed properly. Permanent damage followed. Dance, once central to her identity, was no longer possible. A dream fulfilled and taken away at the same time. Years later, subtle symptoms began appearing. Balance issues, numbness, weakness. She ignored them. During Dead to Me, the symptoms worsened. She continued working. Pushing through had always been her habit. Eventually, doctors diagnosed multiple sclerosis. The disease was irreversible. There was no preparation period, no gentle transition. Life changed instantly. By the third season of Dead to Me, her condition was visible. She used wheelchairs. Crew members supported her physically between takes. Production paused so she could receive treatment. She insisted on finishing the series. It took everything she had. She knew it might be her last major on-camera role, and she accepted that reality with honesty. Soon after, she contracted a severe gastrointestinal virus that worsened her MS symptoms. Frequent hospital visits followed. Pain became daily. Mobility declined. On her podcast, she spoke openly about living with constant discomfort. She did not romanticize illness. She described it plainly. Some days, standing was impossible. Some days, opening a bottle was exhausting. Yet she continued speaking, working, and advocating. Her return to the red carpet at the Critics' Choice Awards was symbolic. She attended with her daughter. It was not about glamour. It was about closure. She publicly acknowledged that traditional acting might no longer be possible. Instead, she planned to focus on voice work, producing, and advocacy. Redefining success became necessary for survival. Christina Applegate's story is not about tragedy. It is about endurance, about learning to live in a body that constantly changes, about choosing honesty over perfection, about finding value beyond applause. From child star to cancer survivor to disability advocate, her life reflects resilience shaped by hardship. Fame gave her opportunity. Struggle gave her wisdom. Today, she stands not as a symbol of flawless success, but as proof that strength can exist alongside vulnerability.